All right, we're live with not live, but we're on with another episode of the Rock Fantasy Files, one I've been looking forward to for a few weeks. This episode features the legendary black metal band Immortal. The group was founded in 1991 in Bergen, Norway, by frontman guitarist Abbath Doom Occulta and guitarist Demonaz Doom Occulta. The pair worked with various drummers over the years, and Hellhammer was in there for a while, Grim Armageddon, and joined by the current drummer. I guess he's still the current drummer. I'm not really sure. Horde. The band takes you on a kind of a journey into like a darkness. Everything's about dark winter and demons. And I've asked our panelists today to name off their top songs from the Immortal catalog and have a question or two for our special guest today, bassist Mia Winter Wallace of Abbath, Nervosa, The True Endless, and other projects she's done over the years. And welcome everyone to the show.
Thank you.
And I guess I don't know who to go first with. Ricardo is brand new to the show. He's also known as a Ravenous Ghoul on Instagram. He's a longtime supporter of rock fantasy and in the New York metal scene. So maybe we'll go with you, Ricardo. Could you give us your picks, please?
Sure. I will start off with my top 5, say, Immortal songs.
Excellent.
The list is much longer, but I'll keep it to 5. I want it to be thorough.
All we can do, yeah.
So I'll start with number 5 first, and that song would be Pure Holocaust, which I've always loved, has always blown me away. Just fast, brutal, relentless, just absolutely crushing. Yes, almost every single Immortal song fits that criteria, but this one just really is just something about it is just much, much more different than some of the other songs. So this one really stands out for me. Now, number 4 might be a song that probably may not make it on everyone's list or on very few. One of my personal favorites is the song Antarctica from Sons of Northern Darkness. That song just has incredible atmosphere. It's just the way it begins, you can just imagine darkness and ice and just a hellish nightmare winter landscape. So it's a brilliant song. It's crushing and it's epic. It has everything you want. It's Immortal at its best. So now number 3, also same album. The next song, Beyond the Northern Waves. Same style. It's just epic, grand. This song it starts off slowly and it just slowly builds and builds and builds and builds, and then there's this huge climax at the end. So it's always blown me away. Number 2, I'm still on the same album, one by one.
Okay.
The first song of the album, crushing, devastating. When I first heard it, it just blew me away, and it's always has been one of my favorites. And then the number 1 song from Immortal, Withstand the Fall of Time.
Hello.
That one is always it's probably the one Immortal song I play the most, and I play every single album. I don't know what more to say about that song. It's just, again, epic. It's brilliant, and it's just an incredible song. The songwriting, I mean, it's powerful. It has everything you want. So it's every time I hear it, I go crazy. So those are my top 5 songs. I also rank the albums. Do you want albums as well, Steve?
You know, we didn't have to do that, but if you did the homework, go for it. You do it quickly.
I will go through it quickly. So they have 9 albums. Number 9, I have the most recent record, Northern Chaos God. It's a good album, yes. But when you compare it to Immortal's album's flawless, so something has to wind up at the bottom. So I put this one there. The number 8, Damned in Black, which excellent record, but it's not as consistent as some of the other albums. Mm-hmm. Number 7, Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism, an album. It's a great record, but the first album, they were still starting off, they were learning, they were growing, and they evolve with time. The number 6, Blizzard Beasts, and a crushing record. I thought it was great, but not as consistent as some of the other ones. Number 5, All Shall Fall, an album that I've always loved. In fact, that was my introduction into Immortal. It's really good record. It's epic, and it has, yes, there we go. And then number 4, Battles in the North. It's just a relentless album from start to finish, really. And then number 3, Pure Holocaust, another just flawless record, brilliant. It's just any song you put on, it's going to just blast you to pieces. And then number one and number two was a real struggle because I thought either one can be ranked as Immortal's best, but I went with number two as At the Heart of Winter. I would give that one a 9.9, whereas Sons of Northern Darkness, perfect 10, because that album is, I mean, again, epic, grand, complex. It's technical at times. It's melodic. There are even moments in that album when it feels calming because they shift speeds so often. And there's something about that album that just feels grand. That it has this epic, enormous sound to it. Drums are perfect. The guitars, everything. I mean, they really they were at their best at Sons of Northern Darkness.
Thank you very much for your input. We'll come back around to you after we go around, and if you have a question for Mia or something else, and thank you for your input. And I'm actually going to move over to another person that's been on the Rock Fantasy Files, but this is her second time. Actually, we featured her a few weeks ago, and Danielle Evans, she's ex-Automb, that was a Pittsburgh-based black metal outfit. She plays bass and does vocals, and amazing artist. And she also has a new project that she's working on. She can briefly tell us about us and give us her picks now, please. Welcome, Danielle.
Hi, thank you. Yes.
Wow.
Hi.
You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I also play guitar, so I'm a bass player, vocalist, guitar player. Okay, so my list. I didn't know I had to do them like 5 to 1, but I just did that in my head right now.
That's fine.
And the reasoning for each of them are kind of like the same. So I'm just going to go through and not really like address each one. But if it was up to me, I'd pick every song off of Sons of Northern Darkness. Like Ricardo said, like that album is everything to me. I think it's perfect. I know it's like not as old school as like the other ones, but it's perfect to me. Okay, so number 5, I would put Damned in Black. It's perfect. 4, Within the Dark Mind off of Sons of Northern Darkness. 3 would be Tyrants off of Sons of Northern Darkness. I love that song so much.
Brava.
Yeah, so good. 2 would be Blashirk because come on, like that's Immortal AF, okay? And 1 would be All Shall Fall, probably. I think that song just like sums up what Immortal is. Like the riffs, the atmosphere, all of it.
Excellent.
So that's my reasoning.
All Shall Fall is one of the tours that I got to see. I saw that at the Gramercy Theater in New York City, and great choice. I mean,
actually, you saw it twice, Steve, because that other one, the Masonic Temple, that was also the All Shall Fall.
That was also okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Refreshing my cobwebbed the pandemic memory here. Pandemic Alzheimer's, I call it.
And I remember you telling me you even talked to Immortal's manager, and they hated that venue. They were like, "We will never play here again." You were like,
I don't think there's ever been another metal show.
I don't think so.
No.
I think, did they maybe get Neurosis for a show? But maybe. I remember you absolutely hated it. I was on the fence. I didn't go. And then you and I saw them the next leg on the at the Gramercy.
I went to that one at the Masonic Temple, but I was I got shithoused. But
I remember you there.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But it was remember you could barely see the stage. They had so much fog and stuff going on.
Dry ice, yeah.
It was them and a Black Anvil opening up, supporting it. I remember. I actually did the meet and greet with them, and I was with Faith, my good friend Faith from Philadelphia, went with me to that show. I think everybody got pretty fucked up at that show.
Except for me.
I got nice and shithoused. It was good.
Cool. So we'll come back to you a little bit, Danielle, and we're going to move over to Mr. Christopher Alo, one of our experts on heavy metal in the room.
Well, thanks, Steve. I don't know about expert, but I know a little about a lot. But yeah, long time Immortal fan. I remember buying my first couple Immortal records from Rock Fantasy. I remember Steve and Steve were both like instrumental.
But you don't have this.
You turned me on lots of cool bands.
You don't have this version.
I don't. I actually, this is the only version I have from Rock Fantasy. I have multiples. I wanted to bring out all my Immortal vinyl because every time I went to Europe, it seemed like Nuclear Blast just kept reissuing all these different versions, like
I know.
colored ones and picture discs. And then they started doing like the 10-inch versions and box sets. I must have like
Exactly.
five or six versions of At the Heart of Winter. And after a while, I'm like, all right, this is getting crazy.
But this was out for Osmos Productions.
The Digi one. Oh, yeah, I'll have to pick that one up.
I have
Yeah, that one I don't have. But
Cool.
yeah, all right. So for 4 and 5, I only did 3, but 4 and 5 we'll do my 2 favorites. Like Ricardo said, and I know Danielle mentioned it too. My 2 favorite records for them: At the Heart of Winter and Sons of Northern Darkness. So we'll go with the title tracks for 4 and 5. For 3, let's do the title track from the last record, which I totally fucking loved. Northern Chaos Gods. Yeah, no Abbath, of course, but man, I think it's a great record. A little bit more of a throwback. It's just absolutely vicious, just ferocious drumming from Horg. Demonaz's vocals are just fucking brutal. But
I will tell you something after about Northern Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
The song, it's a secret.
You're going
Okay.
to tell us about later?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, that's awesome. But yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, Tyrants from Sons of Northern Darkness. I just love that it's so dark and brooding and slow. I mean, I'm weird because I'm the guy that all my favorite Cannibal Corpse songs are all the slow ones. So I just love the slow, heavy stuff. The 2 versions here. In fact, we were supposed to do a cover story years ago for Pit Magazine for this re-release, which came with the DVD. And Abbath kept blowing me off. The label got really mad at him. And then he finally did call me. And he's like, hey, man, I'm really sorry. I have a toothache. He's like, can we not do this interview today? I'm like, what was I going to say? So I was like, yeah, sure. We never did the interview. They never got the cover story. My favorite Immortal song would be Years of Silent Sorrow from At the Heart of Winter. I just love that record. I love, all the time changes. Like Ricardo was saying, the guitars are just crystal clear. You can hear all the bends. And, that's it. I mean, I was lucky to see Immortal. I didn't do my full count of all the US shows. I've seen them 3 times in Europe. The best time was at Grass Pop Metal Meeting in Belgium in 2008. And, from doing the festivals, Nick, they have the giant barriers. And when you're taking the photos, you go in and out of the photo pit. And you can actually sit sometimes in the photo pit. And I begged the security guard because he'd seen me for the last 4 days. I was like, dude, I'm a big Immortal fan. Can I actually stay and watch their set after taking the 3 pictures? And he was like, you're only allowed 3 songs. And he was like, yeah, that's okay. He was real nice. And so I got to sit by myself in the literal, before the front row and watch Immortal. And seeing them in Europe, seeing them live is always great. But to see them with the full pyro was just unbelievable. It was just a great experience. And I actually did one time share a cab ride with Abbath. I was in Wacken 2004, me and 2 buddies. And Nick, I know you've been to Wacken. The nice hotels are, like 45 minutes or an hour away outside of the festival. So me and 2 buddies, where it's whatever it was, like Friday morning at like 9 o'clock. And we call the cab, and the cab's coming. And we see this dude come out of the hotel. And, he was like, hey, are you guys going this early to the festival? And we were like, yeah. He's like, would you mind if I jump in and share a cab with you? I'll pay my share. We were like, yeah, it's cool. We had no idea who he was. He had long black hair and sunglasses, and he had a black vest. And we're like, yeah, jump in. So we jump in, and we're taking this 45-minute car ride, and we're talking and stuff. And where are you from? Where are you from? And I admit, it was a little difficult to understand everything because his accent was a little thick. And at the time, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm in a band. And we're like, oh, what band? And he's like, Bumber. And we're like, what? We're like, Bumber? And it was Bomber, the Motorhead tribute band. But, we were like, what the fuck is this guy saying? We're like, oh, cool. And he's like, he told us he had a Lemmy's Rickenbacker, and he was a big Motorhead fan, and he would grow in the mutton shops. But then as we kept talking, eventually we got out of him that it was Abbath from Immortal. We were like, oh, holy shit, dude. We were like, we're like, oh, we've seen you a ton of times in Europe and the States. And he was super cool, super nice guy. You know, I remember talking to him about the Manowar tour because I'd seen him in the States at Manowar, and he was like, oh, fucking Manowar, man. He's like, they were the weirdest guys. He's like, that was the weirdest tour for us. But he was a super, super nice guy. And it was just so funny because we had no idea who he was until like maybe 15 minutes into this 45-minute. And he tried to pay for the whole cab ride, which was very nice of him. We were like, no. You know, we covered it. We're like, just keep doing your thing. And he wasn't even playing. He was just going up just to hang out with friends. But he was a super nice guy. And that's my Immortal story.
Cool.
Great.
Nice.
Chris, we'll be back to talk to you in a little bit. And we're going to move over to Mr. Nikolas Franco.
What up?
Welcome.
Wow, that's really cool. Oh man, where do I begin? I thought of so many things I wanted to say. This band means a lot to me. When I got into black metal, you know, the internet really hadn't begun. And, you know, so these guys really seemed like these mysterious creatures that, you know, the only persona that you had was this, you know?
Yeah.
At a young age, I was just like, who are these sorcerous people, you know? Like, so getting into Immortal, I did a show with on our other channel with Pardo about running down the top songs. So I figured it would be, I should just take what I did there. You know, I switched one around because, you know how it is. These songs, they interchange, right? So I'll just run down the 5 songs first. For number 5, I decided this time to go with Solar Fall, the second song on At the Heart of Winter, because it's just so, you know, it matches the speed and the epicness that Immortal is so good at capturing, that mix of Bathory and then, you know, the frenetic black metal. And then my number 4 song is probably very unusual, but it has a lot of meaning to me. It's a very brief song called Moonrise Fields of Sorrow, and it's on Battles in the North. And that thing to me, that's like 2.5 minutes of just fury and rhythm and you know, just the ridiculousness of their percussive blast, you know, like especially in those days. I think I'm not a musician, so I can't always tell if a band is sloppy or tight or what, and maybe Immortal was a little sloppy with the drumming, but whatever, it suited them.
But it was Abbath playing the drums.
Yeah, he was
there.
trying to say that exactly. So but even if it was off time a little bit, you got so used to the way he would almost feel like he was like catching up in the time and everything. And it just worked. It worked. It was them. The way they took words and smushed them together and made like, they were like a Norwegian weather report, right? Like every song was about some wild weather, you know, and they didn't do any of the Satan stuff. You know, they didn't have to. And yet they were never questioned. Their you know, their black metalness was never questioned because they just embody it so perfectly. And so Moonrise Fields of Sorrow is something that I karaoke'd once at a house party. And it was right before I threw up rum all over my back deck. But it was a lot of fun. And so that song has always meant a lot to me. I can sing it word for word, just like he growls and everything. And then for my number 3, I'm going with The Call of the Winter Moon from the first album, which I love. First of all, he does so many growls and shrieks, and you know, he's like a troll. He's like, Abbath really gets into this zone that very few people can occupy, where it's like you don't even feel like you're listening to human beings, you know, and it's just so great. So Call of the Winter Moon has that black metal groove that I think has been in a lot of Norwegian black metal that people don't, it's not the first thing they talk about because it's always about the blasting and always about the extremity, but there's just such a groove in this music that you know, you're sitting there like this, it's just so fucking cool. And then from there to Pure Holocaust, the song Unsilent Storms in the North Abyss. I don't know why I'm pointing at my notes like they matter. There they are. Unsilent Storms in the North Abyss is it's even better when they play it live. If you listen to the what is it, the 7 Days of Blashirk or 7 that
live one.
Yeah, the 7 Days of Blashirk.
That's it, Days of Blashirk. I don't know, but man, ooh, talk about just that sneaky, one of the best black metal songs ever written, I think, Unsilent Storms in the North Abyss. But my number 1, like Ricardo, is Withstand the Fall of Time. is my favorite Immortal song of all time. It is. I heard that and I had liked them a lot, but when I heard this, it's my humble opinion that this is the pinnacle of everything they've ever done. Like I love all of it. I love the old, fire breathing shit. I love the chaos of this, and this is right behind it. But I just think that this is on a level that Horde's drumming. It's like they took the Bathory imprint, the middle era Bathory imprint, just right. They just added their own like little sauce to it, and it just for my money, it's one of the greatest black metal records ever. And, so that's my top 5. I got about 4,000 honorable mentions. But
They can't do 4,000 though.
No.
You can do like 2.
Basically, these are my honorable mentions. Everything in here.
Everything on those albums. Okay.
I liked Northern Chaos Gods a lot, and I liked Sons of Northern Darkness. I liked like 3 or 4 songs a lot. And I'm not so into those records. Damned in Black had its moments. I think Triumph is a great song. The way that has that moment in the middle of it where it's like, and then it comes in really fast and you just want to run through a freaking wall. So, they make you want to run through a wall on fire in the snow.
On fire in the snow.
Yeah, I think they just and good guys too. When I finally started to read real interviews about Abbath, and he talked about his dad taking the photos for them. I think for this album, like in the snow, they were freezing their ass off. And their dad was taking. I think that's pretty cool. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Humanize. Obviously, we know now you're all just regular, wonderful people. So that's pretty much my take on Immortal right there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I guess we're going to move over, which I probably should have had go first. Our main guest, Mia. I want to hear what your top 5 Immortal songs are today.
Oh, come on. I have so many things to say about Immortal, but I will start mentioning my top 5 songs.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to be so, maybe it's easy to understand, but I will mention the songs I played with Abbath.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So there's not really a chart, but I will start from my bottom. So number 5, I will say Withstand the Fall of Time from At the Art of Winter. And this is when you can really hear org on drums, and you can really hear the switch in a way of all the stuff that Immortal was doing. And yeah, it's from 1999, and this song is one of the 2 songs very long I played on stage. So Withstand the Fall of Time is 1. And number 4 from Blizzard Beast, I will mention Mountains of Might. For me, this 8-minute song is one of the best songs they ever wrote, because it's really full of mid-tempo, and then after the intermezzo, when there's the typical harmonic of the guitar, there's this smash in the face. And I remember when we were playing this on stage, I was really feeling the stage, vibrating for the power that was coming after the break. So yeah, I would say Mountains of Might. And I think with this album, Blizzard Beast is the first album, when org came in the lineup. So you on the album too, you can really hear the power of this drummer that was amazing. And then my other 3, 2, 1, they are all from Sons of Northern Darkness. So number 3 is In My Kingdom Code. And my God, that song, and for me is one of the best. And then One by One. And I love to see how all the Abbath is always playing with this one by one, and see the audience, the reaction of people that is like, oh my God, it's coming one by one. And when we were playing on stage, there was this kind of, unbalanced things, like we want to hear one by one or number one, Tyrants. My God, Tyrants.
Tyrants. Yeah.
When we were playing Tyrants, I mean, I was feeling huge. I'm small, but I was feeling huge. I was feeling a Viking. And then, in the middle part, when everyone was quiet, and he's always playing with the audience. This is amazing. And I really like this song because it's really, can I say epic? It's like you really want to headbang when you hear this song, and it's perfect all the time. So yeah, of course you can really hear in the cities that is produced by that there's Peter Tägtgren hand inside of this, and yeah. So, and also at the Art of Winter, there's also Peter Tägtgren. Oh my God, like as a producer and an engineer. So yeah, these are basically my top 5, even though I have to say that also playing All Shall Fall for me was amazing. And yeah, but these are my top 5. And then what I wanted to say about Northern Chaos Gods.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Northern Chaos Gods in reality is Ashes of the Damned? I mean, this song is Ashes of the Damned that you can hear in the first album of Abbath.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite song on that album, by the way. Ashes of the
Yeah,
Damned.
it's like Northern Chaos Gods, but in reality is the Damned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what I have to say, Immortal for me has been everything from the beginning. When I started with black metal in 1994, I immediately approached to Immortal because visually, and of course for the music that they were proposing, visually they were like, wow, what's this? For me before there was only Kiss that were with this huge face painting, but Kiss was not a band that was really taking me like, oh my God, this is moving me some kind of different feeling. Kiss for me was happiness, but Immortal, it was like, okay, let's dig inside of yourself because there's something dark, and there's something about the inner self, the darkness inside of you. And yeah, I remember I was the first woman in Italy with face painting, and I'm so sorry to admit this, but I copied in the beginning. I copied the face painting of Abbath, and I was doing fire breathing Spitfire on stage.
Wow.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was 1997. In Italy, they were absolutely unprepared to this, to see a woman on stage doing this stuff with corpse paint and whatever. And I remember a guy almost died for my fire breathing, not because I burned him or things like that, but I remember, there's a little bit, in Italy at that time there was a bit, misogynist feeling like a woman cannot do this on stage. Oh, you're faking. So I remember I was with petroleum. I don't know, how do you call the
Gasoline?
It's not gasoline, because if you use gasoline, you will burn yourself out.
Alcohol?
No. It's like petroleum. It's it's oily. I don't know how can. Yeah, it's the thing that you put inside of torches.
Oh yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the citronella torch
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like the torches, like
Yes, but
the
it's
oil.
it's
Yeah.
not
Okay. Yeah.
tasting.
Yeah.
Basically this.
Yeah.
Huh.
You have to use this, otherwise the the vapors will
Yeah.
burn all your skin and all
Okay.
your hair. So I was with the True Endless, my band that I played for 20 years, and I remember we were playing in this club, and we were with only one tank of this petroleum, whatever. So we decided for that concert to do, both of us, Spitfire, fire breathing. So we said, okay, let's split the content of this tank in 2 bottles of beer, because the glass
Yeah.
is not melting.
Oh, I know
Okay,
where
let's
this is
do.
going.
Okay, exactly. So after the concert, they were, the audience, people in the audience were all drunk. So one of them came on stage. We were, taking away instruments and all the gears, and he said, huh, "What's inside of that? And what's on the bottle?" And I was like, "Don't touch it, because it's really dangerous." And it was the petroleum I used to, and he was not paying attention. And he was like, "Oh, come on, if you do this, I can do it too." Blah, 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 blah. And he put inside of himself all the petroleum. And I remember my bandmate was like, in slow motion, "No!" But it was too late. And this guy started to puke. And it's the worst thing, because when you puke, all the stuff come up and down, up and down. So in the end, he fainted.
Oof.
He fainted, and we were like, "You're an asshole." Yeah. So yeah, this is my experience with black metal inspired to Immortal.
Nice.
That's phenomenal.
They created a monster.
Good.
That's pretty
Don't
cool.
drink other people's citronella torch fluid. That's a lesson.
No.
Rule number one.
Words to live by.
So, Mia, I would love to hear some more stories, but let's get Steve and Dennis's picks, and then we'll have some questions for you and have a lot of fun. Let's go with Danny Barth. Welcome from Vancouver. How are you today, sir?
Good, buddy. I'm good, buddy. Always good. Always good.
Welcome, man.
So like, I guess like, I'm an old guy, right? So like, sometimes I have wrong opinions about bands and stuff. And I believe like anything done after Holy Diver sucks, right? So like, but like I do have like 6 wonderful kids. My 2 oldest daughter are like 29 and 27. And at some point, when Immortal came out, I was not into it. Like I thought it was like sound too much like Battery. And like I grew up with Battery and Automb and Slayer and Venom. So if you want to impress me, it needed to be fucking amazing, right? But you learn from your kids. So my daughters, they sat me down at some point and said, like, "Dad, shut up and listen to this." So they put like At the Heart of Winter, and then I'm listening to with all the stand of time, and like I'm listening to it. And when that fucking riff kicks in, like, like I was hooked. It was like, that's it. The moment I was like, this is fucking amazing, right?
Yeah.
And like my daughters were like, "Victory! We changed the old guy," right? And like up in Canada, like
Did you say daughter, woman?
yeah.
Smarter.
So up in Canada, I'm actually from Montreal, Quebec. I moved to Vancouver like 20 years ago, but in Montreal, we do have like crazy winter. So like I could really relate to like their like Norwegian like winter storm story, because like and to this day, like I'm 55 years old now, and every time I drive in a snowstorm, I will fucking put At the Heart of Winter
Yes.
on repeat every fucking time. It starts snowing, I'm looking for the fucking CD and I'm putting it, or the USB stick or whatever format I use in my truck. But like it's a reflex. It always plays. And like, you know, and like I have that Abbath t-shirt there. That's my 13-year-old son's t-shirt. We went to see Abbath. It was like an over 18 bar, and I squeezed him in like we used to do in the old days. Like, fuck that shit. So like all my kids, like they, you know, they grew up listening to Slayer and everything that I put on, right? But like my son is the one who said like, hey, Abbott's got a solo album, and check this out. And I love Ashes of the Dam, and I love like even their writing on the Wind. The Priest cover is fucking awesome.
Yes.
So but like it took a while for me to get into Immortal, but when I got into it, then I just loved it. I love Sons of Northern Darkness. I went to all their catalog after that, and you know, like for me, it's like a band that I often go and listen to. So like my number 5 song, actually like it's like Abbath on the first album that he redid a version of Nebular Raven's Winter.
Yeah.
And I think he made me like the song even better. Like I went back
Yeah.
to listen to the Immortal version, and I liked it, but I think his version made me love the song even more. So now I listen to both versions, and I like either of them. The number 4 is the song At the Heart of Winter. And again, it's that drive to the snow. Like I just like keep listening to it, and it just works for me. Then after like At the Heart of Winter was my favorite album, and sometimes it switches. It goes from like, okay, like for like 2 years it'll be Son of like Northern Darkness, and then it goes back, and then but it's always usually around these two records. And like Mia said, I love the song Tyrants. I just think it's like so fucking heavy. Like it's just like right in your face. No fucking around. Like this is what we are, and this is what we do. There's another song on that album called Demonium
Yep.
that I really like as well. But like my favorite song is definitely with L Stand of Time. It's that fucking riff, right? And like you look at like Immortal shows, like you can go on YouTube and see them in Wacken and see them at huge festival starting that riff, and you see like 60,000 people going.
Exactly.
And it's how can you not like that? Even an old guy like me, you believe that like Holy Diver was the last good record. I can know that this is what it's all about. But you know what? Like Immortal in the end, and now Habit now in his by himself, who's doing a fucking fantastic job. You know, it's a band that will stand the time, and will
Exactly.
be like
It will
so.
withstand the fall of time.
Exactly. So that's my picks, and that's it. That's my story.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to move over to Mr. Steve Levin. We'll bring him back. This guy decided he wanted to slam his hand into the back of a truck before he started the episode today. He just texted.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm gonna see about playing guitar. We'll see how that goes, but I'm all right. End up at the hospital, so hopefully I won't lose the nail or anything like that. So
Oh, Jesus.
we'll see.
Oh
Never-
my God.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve, that sucks.
Not a way to start the
Sorry
day, but
for you.
oh, that's okay. Thank you. But I'm here with you guys now, so that always makes me feel better, you know.
Cat's
I
there.
love that hat, Steve.
Good stuff. So the great thing, one of the things I do love about Rock Fantasy Files is that makes you go back sometimes. I'll start listening to a certain type of music and I'll listen to that, you know, death metal, whatever.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
when we listen to the files, I always go back and I'll listen to bands that maybe I haven't listened to for a little bit. And that was definitely the case with Immortal. And going back, it was really quite interesting to listen to it and remember how much they actually meant to me as a band. One of the things to toot Rock Fantasy's horn just a little bit is we've always had employees there that knew music and knew what was coming out, what was the say the best music, the most underground, the darkest, whatever you want to say, music at the time. And they've always had employees like that. I like to think that I followed in the footsteps of some of the employees. At the time, there was a guy named Andy working there, and Andy was very well versed in black metal. So when he started working there right away. He brought a lot of black metal into the store.
Oh yeah.
And, it was pretty amazing that, like, when I went in to see all this new music, like Absu and, Immortal was one of the bands and just a lot of stuff like that. But at that point, Pure Holocaust had just come out. And trying to get stuff on Osmos in the States at that time was hard. You had to know somebody. I mean, as far as I know, people would actually contact Hervé and want stuff, and he just wouldn't send it to him. You had to actually know him, be in good with him, whatever the case was, and then you would actually get the stuff. And fortunately for us, he did have some sort of link to him, so he was getting that kind of stuff. So my introduction to him was with Pure Holocaust, and man, let me just tell you, for somebody that was listening to a lot of death metal at that point, to hear this kind of stuff coming out, Emperor, Satyricon, Dark Medieval Times and stuff like that, just blows your mind. And at that, internet wasn't out too. So what was really cool is you heard all this mysterious stuff going on over in Europe, and you could never really tell whether it was real or not. I mean, some of the stuff you heard turned out to be true. Some of the stuff you heard was just rumors, but it was just so dark and mysterious. And that's still the feeling that black metal in general gives to me. And that's what I love about it. And just like Denny said, when it's snowing out, you have to put on like Immortal or Emperor or something like that. But I go a long way with my kids too. I don't know if you'll be able to see the picture, but my daughters are.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
This one here,
Nice.
she's 30 and she's 27. So
Wow.
you can see, or so yeah, they were listening to black metal at a very young age.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they were exposed to it quite a long time ago. So yeah, it's funny stuff. So they grew up listening to it, and as a result, they love it. They actually like a lot of different extreme music, but they do love black metal as well. So it's really cool. So to just give you a quick rundown of my list, in no particular order, from Battles in the North, Lasher, Mighty Raven Dark. What I love about that song is that album is so chaotic. Those drums are so over the top that it's like, you have to really listen to it to understand what's going on. If you do, you find a real treasure. But if you just listen to it on the outside, it's very hard to grasp. But that song really, to me, it shows where Abbath was going at that time. It was showing the progression that he was going to do from that really, really dark, fast, blazing black metal into something that was more graspable and more of actually the sound that he has right now. So that's one of my favorite songs. And I was actually surprised to see Call of the Winter Moon make somebody's list. I love that song. That's on my Halloween playlist. It has been for years and years and years. Some people, because of the video, which is kind of crazy.
With the hat. Yeah.
And they're looking back and forth. But if you were listening to this, right? Yeah, if you're listening to that at the time, though, like if you see like the old Mortis stuff, like a lot of bands were doing crazy stuff like that. And but I love that song. And actually, what I really love, I love the intro to that song. That intro part, it's so dark and eerie. And then like when it just kicks in, I just love that. That is definitely one of my favorites. And then jumping over to Sons of Northern Darkness, which you have to mention, because that is really the sound that I was talking about when I was talking about Raven Dark. That's really where he was going. And on that album, I love every song, but that song to me is just, that's the top one. I really love that. And then my two favorite albums, one that a lot of people kind of didn't like, it didn't get great reviews at the time, but one that I love because I just think it's so brutal, is Blizzard Beast.
Yeah.
I think that album's out of hand, crazy. Like those guitar riffs, like just when I play, I love to play that because it just gets you in that move. It once you warm up to play that stuff, it's just really feels good. And a couple of my favorite songs are the title track Blizzard Beast and Nebula Raven's Winter is a killer song. And one that nobody mentioned, I love Battlefields. That song is
Battlefields.
So God.
But like, Battlefields, it's taken also in the Eye Project,
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Eye Project. That's amazing. That's
No,
Don't
I did
forget
that.
Eye
That
Project.
album. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
And I.
see
Yeah.
that. You learn something all the time. I didn't even think about that. Yes, that's true. Wow. Mind blown.
Bam.
And then because that was probably the first one I started out with is Pure Holocaust. And my favorite songs in that would probably be the back-to-back songs of Holocaust Frozen by Ice Winds, which just has that sick, evil lead at the end of it. It's like, I don't even know what he's doing on that. It's just crazy, some sort of weird like guitar effect. And Storming Through Red Clouds and Holocaust Winds. And boy, title is a mouthful, but that is a sick song. And those songs back to back are just, wow. I mean, just blow you away. So great stuff. Just one of my favorite black metal bands, hands down. I still think what he's doing is really pertinent and good stuff. And it's really cool to be here with you, Mia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Steve.
There's
You know,
something.
well-
Can I say something about
You can say whatever
Blusher?
you want.
Mhm.
Because it's really important for Immortal, because Blusher, Mighty Ravendark, Ravendark meant to the two, I can say, brothers, Harald, Demonus and Abbath. They were so close, so they figured like their friendship and their I don't know how to say, connection with this crow and this Ravendark, that means obscure rain. So it's really important for Immortal, this song.
Mhm.
And the reason why, for example, with Abbath, we never played Blusher, it's because that connection is actually broken. And it's so sad, because they were like, like brother and sister, brother and brother, sorry. no yeah, sorry. And Blusher has a really deep meaning for both of them, and I had the honor to know both of them, and they are really like, when it's related to Blusher, they are like, no, we don't like to talk about this, there's something broken and we don't like to go further. It was so sad when they decided to split up, but it happens. What can I say? It happens.
I remember the compilation that I first heard Immortal on, and I still have it. It's called Gods of Darkness, and it was released in 1997. And the first, because to say what Levin was saying about Blizzard Beast, because the song Frost Demon Storm is on here. That's the first Immortal song I ever heard, was Frost Demon Storm. And that album got banned because of the production, because at that time everybody was valuing like what Dimmu Borgir was doing with the expansive, the orchestral shit. And then here you have these guys just like blasting out this like 2.5 minute, complete like ear shattering, like, loudness. And so that was my introduction to them. And you were talking about your kids, and I just thought of this. About 3 years ago, my daughter's going to be 10, but when she was about, I don't know, when did Northern Chaos Gods come out? 18?
Northern Chaos God.
Yeah, right around then. So she was like 7 or whatever. She was looking at the record and she drew Demonaz.
Yeah, 2018.
Oh my gosh.
She wrote Die, but she also wrote Hearts.
Nice.
So I have this picture of Demonaz hanging up. So I just thought of that when Steve said it.
So cool. So cool.
You have to frame that and hang it, man.
Oh yeah, that's definitely hangs up. Yeah,
That's a key.
Yeah. So, but
I guess I'll just blast through my 5 songs, and then we'll start a couple questions from Mia and
Nice.
start wrapping things up a little bit.
Sure.
My number 5
even-
is. What's
Can
that?
I say something more about Immortal? And I am really grateful.
Oh, you can
for
say
this
whatever you
band.
like. Yeah.
What really captured me in the very beginning, for Immortal, and actually, I can say the same for Abbath. I'm so grateful for these 2 bands, because they were completely outside at that time also from all the political stuff and all the religion stuff too, because they were only talking about, you know, their world, you know, ice, mountains, you know,
Yes.
Norway, but they were not absolutely like the other bands, like, oh, we are all the, on the left, right wing, or we are Satanists, or
Yes.
we are burning churches. I mean, Abbath say something, I remember in a interview. It was like, okay, if I go burning churches, you know, Norway is a rich country, so they will build it again, and then they will have their money, and we will go in jail. What's the point? I mean, we like to do music. And this was like blowing me away, because it was like, okay, this is the band, you know, they are only doing music and talking about wind and mountains and
Yes.
Norway. This is the right way to
No.
do music. I mean, not being involved in anything, you know.
Cool.
Yeah,
In
this was
America,
the only thing.
all we heard about when, as a musician myself, I always wanted to hear about how they wrote the songs and maybe what kind of equipment they were using or stuff like that. And all you would ever hear about in the interviews or anything, they want to focus on church burning and, you know, the people that the arsons and the people going to jail. And it just, I mean, that whole Lords of Chaos stuff. And to me, that's not what that scene was important about. I mean, it definitely added to the mystique. I won't lie about that, especially, like I said, with no proof of what was really going on in the States. But man, that's not really what I want to hear about. So that's really a good point that you brought up, because to me, it was the music that was important. It wasn't about burning churches
Exactly.
or what it was, you know? And that's all you really heard over here. So it actually got to the point it was really annoying. You pick up a magazine, you'd never hear about, oh, why did you write that song? Or what does that lyric mean? Or, oh, you know, that part where you change times there, that's really cool. It was always about, oh, are you involved with this? What side are you on? Are you in the black metal? Stuff like that.
You're right, Steven. I wrote an article about 4 or 5 years ago when I used to write for Metal Injection once in a while. And I wrote a thing. Every year they want to have somebody write something about black metal. And one of the things I was writing was that, like you said, everybody focuses on those couple of sensational things, but people don't realize, or they don't want to realize, the musical acumen, the skill and talent and innovation that these young men and women had in the early 90s, and how fast it expanded the different types of black metal that there were. You know, like they in a very rapid, like this, man. These kids, you know, you listen to what's his name, Grudel from Enslaved, talking about sitting on his parents' bed and playing Handel on a flute when he was 7 years old. Like the background that these young men and women had in music was so different. Then they got into Kiss, and then they got into Venom and Bathory, and then they took all of that, and in a world where there was no internet, in a world that was really isolated, because you don't really have that now. That you don't have. Yeah, you're a kid in like rural Norway, like your little conduit into music is so, and yet so vast, and they took that and ran with it. So I agree with you. It's absolutely more about the music, sensationalism.
I'm just going to run through my 5 real quick so I get that done, and we'll have Mia talk a little bit more and whatever else. I'm going to go number 5 at Frostbitten Kingdoms from Battles in the North. I'm going to number 4 is Nebula Raven's Winter from Blizzard Beasts.
Great song.
Number 3 is Solar Far from At the Heart of
Solar Far, yeah.
Number 2, I'm going with Battles in the North from Battles in the North. And number 1, Withstand the Fall of Time. I think if we were playing tic-tac-toe here, we would have had a match with that one. Everyone's number 1 a lot. And one of my question for Mia is a simple one. Mia, what are you drinking in your goblet?
Actually nothing, because it's finished, but guess.
Okay, it's finished now, so you were drinking.
Yes.
What I was drinking, you have to guess.
Blood.
No, I wasn't that big.
Prosecco.
Prosecco.
for a second. I only drink wine.
Okay.
Wine is, yeah, I don't drink beer. That was a huge problem for me because I grew up with metalheads and everybody was trying to put me into beer, but I was like, "Ugh, I don't like beer." Wine.
Mia,
Wow.
where did you grow up? What town? Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up, and I'm still in a city really close to Milano, in the north of Italy.
Did you
Yeah,
ever?
and
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, and it was not easy for me, at that time to do that kind of music because they are really.
Did you ever
Yeah.
become acquainted with anybody in Opera 9? Because Raffaella from Opera 9, Cadaveria, back in the day, was one of the only other females into playing that style of music.
Opera 9,
Yeah.
Cadaveria.
Yeah. Have you
Of
ever?
course,
Yeah.
Raffaella is one of my best friends ever.
Yeah.
She's a warrior, actually,
Mhm.
because
yeah.
I don't know if you know what
do.
she's been through.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm supporting her. I was supporting her at that time, and
Yeah.
I'm supporting her, and I hope that everybody of you will support her because she has been through something really bad, like cancer, but she's a
Mhm.
survivor now, and she's a warrior. She really fought against this fucking sickness that is taking away all of our best friends. Actually, I
Yep.
lost my best friend for this reason, and then LG, but Raffaella survived. I'm so happy and I'm so proud. She is Italian. She is really a badass. So
She is.
support Cadaveria.
Yeah.
Support Cadaveria. Yeah. Thank you so much. But at that time, I have to admit that she was the first woman on stage, singing and being the front woman, doing something different like black metal. So yeah, of course, yeah, my best friend that was playing in my band, The True Endless, that was the co-founder of this band, became, after Cadaveria exits from Opera 9, Opera 9, became the singer of Opera 9. But then, he died.
Oh yes,
Uh,
that's right.
yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. No, don't put the veil of sadness on this. He is drinking in the Valhalla with, I don't know, with LG and all the
Okay.
people that is.
See.
Yeah, I like to think of like this.
Yeah.
I like to think that he is happy now. Yeah.
That's wild.
Excellent.
Yeah, I figured you'd have met them, the Opera 9, and known them and all that stuff.
Okay, cool. Ricardo, do you have a question for Mia?
The only question at the moment, just regarding Abbath, I know I've seen photos of him on social media that he was in the studio, and I'm just wondering, have your role so far in the development of the new album, have you gotten started on it, or what can you say about your work and where the album stands now?
Well, this is not the first time that we work together with a distance. Basically, I always worked with my bands with distances, because also with Nervosa, of course, we met together in Malaga and we record together. But with Abbath, for example, for Outsider, I recorded my bass lines here, and I was sending to Endre Kirkesola my bass lines, and they were working on my bass lines. But it's really a huge process, because Abbath is a genius. So every day he has some changes, because he is 100% into music. His life is creating music. Is really, in my opinion, a genius, because he's really super talented. So he is constantly thinking about the process and the music. We can adjust here or adjust there. So I have always to be ready to make some changes. So without Strider, it took something like 2 months of exchanging files, of him sending me videos of him playing his Rickenbacker that is using for bombers. Like,
Nice.
better for you, try this instead of this. Let me know what, because he is really open to everything. Let me know what do you think about it. And then with this new album, I finished my bass lines, and we are in the process of mixing everything. I can assure you that the new Abbath album will be the best ever.
Can't wait.
So yeah, I have my phone and my PC is full of songs, and I'm so excited to know the opinion of the audience, because in my opinion, Abbath never did a good job like this.
Excellent.
He is a genius, but with this album,
Nice.
yes.
Cool.
And the thing is that for this new album, I changed the gear. I don't know if you can see this. It's a Schecter, a Razor 5. The difference is that for the last album, I used this. That is an Ibanez, and it's a 4-string bass. That the Schecter is a 5-string, so the sound will be a little bit different, but believe me, it's worth.
Excellent.
Yeah, we recorded the whole album with a Schecter gear.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Ricardo. And I'm going to move over to Danielle. Do you have a question for me today?
Yes, I have one question. What was the most memorable show you've ever played?
Oh my God.
I know it's a hard one.
And what band?
No, it's not hard.
Any
I
band.
have to say, no. Okay. The most memorable was the first one in India, in Bangalore. It was the first concert I played with Abbath.
Okay.
We made something like, I came to Bergen and I did 1 week, like, out of the blue, let's do rehearsals together. And I was like, rehearsing at home, but it was different because I was in front of my hero. So I was like, oh my God. And the first concert was in India. Can you imagine?
No.
Bangalore in India. And it was so strange for me. So the most memorable concert was in Bangalore, of course, but I have not to lie to you, because I am always honest. Also, Argentina was a huge challenge for me. I got to know the person behind the persona Abbath. I got to know all the better, and we discovered that we have so many things in common. We are humans behind the character. So we have our flaws, we have our fragilities, and of course that was a catastrophe, that was a tragedy, but tragedy, no, not in a bad way, but it was really a bad moment. But I think it was perfect for him, and it was perfect for me too, because we got to know that not always we have to be perfect. We are human, we have our bad moments, and I think people have to know about this, that we are also humans, and we have our fragilities. And I think it helped me and him to grow as musicians. Of course, I had to break my arm with Triumph of Death to realize it. He had to, you know, cry on stage in Argentina. We both had our traumatic moments, but now we are stronger than ever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. We wish him the best.
Thank you. Anything else, Danielle?
Nope, that's it.
All right, I'm going to
Thank
move
you,
over
Danielle.
Yeah.
and definitely check out Danielle's project. Danielle, tell us briefly about your new project.
It's called Stridskvinna. It's a Swedish word that means battle woman. So I formed it after my last band broke up. And so I'm playing guitar, bass, vocals, everything. It's gonna be like strictly black metal. Maybe like
wow,
a metal, but yeah.
Say it
that's
again.
great.
Thank you. It's called Stridskvinna.
And you can find her on Instagram under Black Metal Khaleesi if you want to look her up. And thank you for being on the show, Danielle. I hope we can do some more episodes coming up. And I got Mr. Chris Alo. I'm sure he has a question or two for Miss Wallace.
Sure, absolutely. Well, me, I had tickets to see you twice in 2019. Unfortunately, the Abbath show, the Abbath tour, you didn't make, but the most amazing concert of 2019 for me personally. I flew from New York to Las Vegas to see Triumph of Death, the Hellhammer tribute, which was
You were there in Mandela Bay,
right in front, taking pictures in the photo pit. I have a shit ton of pictures of you and Tanji Warrior. I mean, it was just a mind-blowing experience to actually hear, you know, all these Hellhammer songs, which I'd never heard in concert before. And it was just amazing. So I guess my question is, how was the whole Triumph of Death, you know, experience?
Well, it was an honor for me, you know, because of course with my band, The True Endless, we were taking a lot of inspiration from Hellhammer songs. And for me, playing, you know, for the first time on stage for a legendary band like Hellhammer with the founder of this band,
right.
the living, oh well, we have to say he is the living founder of the band, but there's also Steve Warrior that is still alive, but is not really into playing music live, you know, is not into music stuff anymore. So yeah, so I took the, you know, the honor to play on stage with the living, you know, person that is representing Hellhammer. So for me, it has been a long process because most of the songs were from 1985, you know, that they were not easy to play because Tom decided to change also some kind of tunings, because in the beginning we were tuning in, Hellhammer was tuning in E, so we decided to split and tuning everything in B, but it was impossible to make anything being audible. In B you cannot play a Hellhammer song. At least you have to go in D, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we worked a lot on you know, the entire project. So yeah, in the end we came on stage and we did it, and I'm so happy. I'm so sad that it ended like it ended, but no matter what, I have a lot of bands I'm happy to play with. So I wish all the best to, you know, the new bass player. So yeah, I wish the best to them.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else, Chris?
Well, that's it. Yeah, just looking forward to the new Abbath record, and thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks to you.
And everybody needs to go out and buy that Nervosa Perpetual Chaos because it's mind-boggling.
Yes, absolutely. I bought my copy at Rock Fantasy.
I know. I've been trying to push that, and of course, I mean, I knew about Mia from being an Abbath and other things, but I really discovered Abba, but Abba and Mia. I'm going to I'm Abba. I don't know. I'm talking about Abba. I'm way off. Mia from
Combine Abbath and Mia, you get Abba.
from yeah. And you know, Robin Mason connected me with Prika, and we did the interview. And I feel like I'm a big supporter of Nervosa. I bought the shirt, and I really love the music. And it seems like you guys keep putting out more videos with the Nervosa project and another long distance project we were talking about. You guys are all over the place, you know.
Yes, we are, because we are amazing.
It's good. Yeah, it's great. Diva, I love Diva and Prika, and it's just I wish you
And
guys
Eleni, the cute little drummer.
Oh yes,
that is
yeah, she's
fucking
amazing too.
demon. Sorry, I said fucking.
And I hope that one day I'd be able to see you guys play live. I hope
absolutely.
that one day we'll be able to have concerts again.
I
God,
was gonna say, hopefully we can see anybody live.
Hope so.
Maybe in
Nervosa's on the
June,
top of my list, you know. So
maybe in 2 months in Spain.
I don't think I'll make it to the Spain show, but Prika did let me know that you do have a gig in Spain lined up in June, right? Or something. I heard something about maybe. Maybe. Right?
But you know, in this situation, nothing is certain.
Nothing
you know,
certain,
maybe.
No, they take it day by day. Cool. Danny, do you have a question for Mia?
Of course, I have a question for Mia.
All right.
First off, like, yeah, like, congratulations on that Nervosa record, like Perpetual
Thank
Chaos.
you so much.
My favorite release of 2021. It kicked my old balls back into place. So thank you so much. So my question for you is, on the Perpetual Chaos, you have like 2 special guests, 2 of my good friends, Mr. Schmear and Eric AK. So how was it like working with them and getting them to know like their lines and singing and all that? So how was that the process?
You know, I think the most difficult part was not for me, Prika, or Eleni. The most difficult part was for Diva, because she was so anxious, like because in the beginning we were supposed to meet these 2 singers, you know, Schmear and Eric, in studio. So she was like freaking out, because she was like, I will never be on the same level. They are professionals, they are super famous, I'm not. And we were like, Diva, you are amazing, you have nothing to fear about, you know. But they are 2 legends. And I mean, when she did the vocal lines, and both of the you know, Eric and Schmear heard her vocal lines, everything clicked like, you know, natural. So for me it was an honor, because I was like, oh my God, these 2 guys are you know, like legends for me. And I think we did a good job. I think we did a good job.
Both guys are super awesome too. They're so easy to work with.
Thank you.
Anyway, nice to meet you. Great job. Huge fan of
Thank you so much.
Huge fan of Nervosa. So I'll keep listening. And now you got me all excited about the next Abbath. Now I won't be able to sleep.
No sleep till Abbath. New album.
Yeah.
No sleep too.
Time to fight.
Just wait.
Steve Levin, do you have a question for Mia?
Yeah, Mia. How do you feel about? Do you like playing the 5-string a lot, or do you feel like that opens up like a whole new like avenue of playing to you, or is it like just a little bit like too much? I started playing 7-string over a year ago, and there's things about it that I really love. Not 7-string bass. I'm sorry, 7-string guitar.
Okay.
I really love about it. And, you know, but there's things I really like about just using a 6-string as well. So I was just wondering how you feel about that.
Well, I have to be honest, because with the new songs of Abbath, it's really necessary to have the 1st string, you know. Oh man, the fifth string, you know, the biggest
Right.
one, because it gives to the whole song, you know, the lower impact of the, you know, the low vibrations.
More
And
bottom hand.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
yeah. I have to be honest, if I have to compare Outsider with a new album, there's a lot of you know, low vibration, and also Abbath's voice, it's more, I have not to say too much, but he's playing a lot with his voice. He has a beautiful voice. He has a huge, you know, capacity of and strength with his voice. You know, sometimes he's playing with his voice like a didgeridoo, you know. So I mean, in this album, the fifth string was really necessary.
Mhm.
So it was not so difficult for me, because I play with a 5-string bass also in Killian Camera. That is the other another band I'm playing with, but it's completely different because we are doing a new wave and stuff like this. But it's I have to admit that it was really necessary to play with a 5-string bass. Yeah.
Is he tuned lower now?
What?
Did he tune his guitar lower?
We are always in C sharp. Yeah, so the fifth string is A bemolle, something like, yeah.
Right. Oh,
It's
that's
really,
right. That big thunder.
yeah, and I have to use a special string that is really big, you know, that it's 160 millimeters, something like this. It's really huge, because otherwise you cannot hear really the note, you know. Yeah.
almost like a piano string.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I just had one more quick question. I was wondering, being that you're in Italy, did you ever hear of the band Des SS?
Oh my God, yes, they are kind of, sorry, legendary.
Yes.
And Steve Sylvester is kind of a legend here. You know that he is an actor too?
I knew he did some theatrical stuff, but I didn't know that he was actually doing like movies or anything like that. Wow, that's really
yeah. It's kind of a legend here.
I think Paul Chain is one of the best guitarists. The way he plays is so
yeah, they work together, and Paul Chain has some kind of strange path, strange, you know, religion path in his life. There was a time that he was dressing him all in white, and he was some kind of super Christian, and we were like, what happened to you, Paul?
Yeah, I think the first thing he put out was like had song "Departing from Satan" or something similar to that. I don't think that's the exact name, but it was something like that. You could tell that I heard that maybe he was bugged out by what was going on. In some legends, I've heard that like some of the original Death SS songs had like some really like dark stuff recorded in them, and there was like some real like maybe rituals going on there. And I think that he did that past, and he led away from that. But that's really cool that you heard about them, because especially when you mentioned Kiss, Death SS was wearing the makeup and stuff like that, like before King Diamond Fate, so they predate that. And they only recently started getting a little bit more attention when I think was it Watain that did a cover song of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Watain. Yep.
Chain Yes, I did, which is one of my favorite songs. What a great song. But it's really nice meeting you. It's really cool. I love to pick people's brains, and especially hearing about equipment and the playing and everything. And I'm really happy to see that you're back with Abbath. And yeah, good luck with everything.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you. And your cat is beautiful, by the way.
Actually, I have
that cat has his own Instagram page, Mia.
That's Jelly.
Oh.
This is my baby here, Puny.
So you can follow Steve's
cat
on Instagram.
Yeah. This is kind of porno for me, because I have a cat too.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
I am
all.
a cat nerd, you know.
So
If you
I'll
want to
put the- I'll
conquer
put the-
me, show me a cat.
Nice.
We'll
That's
put
funny.
the links to Steve's cats in the description of the video.
Nice.
Anyone else with a final questions? We wrap things up, or anything you'd like to add, Mia? Would you like to add a closing statement, Mia, or about anything else, or?
Well, my statement is that I'm so happy that I'm back in Abbath, and I
Yes.
cannot describe you the happiness when I received the call from Olbe, and he was like, sorry for what happened, you know, I'm so sorry, but Abbath cannot exist without you. And
Nice.
you know, receiving the apologies from a person like him, you know,
My heart.
yeah, and I cried so much because it was really my dream, and I am so happy to have amazing bands like Abbath, Nervosa,
Oh,
and to
yeah.
be surrounded by so much beautiful people, like, and Kirli and Camera too. They never abandoned me for a single moment. I will be forever grateful for to them too. I am in a good moment actually, and I am enjoying every single moment, you know, after
Excellent.
have been in a really deep you know, situation, you know. I was really in the bottom. Rika saved me.
Thanks.
Rika saved me, and yes, she is number one. She saved me really. When I received her email, I really started to, you know, float again in the
Great.
surface.
Nice.
I will be forever grateful for to her. And we
Excellent.
have a lot of news, but I cannot talk about this.
Well, maybe
now.
you can come back in a few weeks and we'll talk about it then. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for your time today. And it's an honor to have Mia in the room. It was an honor to have Danielle join us, and everybody else. Ricardo and the
Absolutely.
Ravenous Ghoul is on our first episode. And we have a bunch of new stuff coming up. Look for, we just interviewed Ricky Rackman yesterday from MTV's Headbangers Ball. He's got a new show,
Wow.
Ball, and he's playing videos on there. And we plugged Nervosa on there, so hopefully he's going to play Nervosa on that, because he was talking about, and I'm like, well, Crypto, but you got to listen to Nervosa too. And we also interviewed Hans von Doll from the Sabaton, the drummer from Sabaton, and we have that episode coming up. We just did a panel on Merciful Fate. You can check on the channel. We just did a panel on Ghost, and Steve's got a couple things in the work this week. What do you got coming up, Steve? Evan.
On Tuesday, we're going to talk to Lee from Monstrosity, which is going to be a lot of fun. He's also played in a few other bands. He's been in Malevolent Creation and that was on, and he just put out the recordings of Midnight. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I believe Thursday we're doing Bill Lindsay from Impaler, and right around our age, and we have a lot in common with comic books, toys, and wrestling, and everything else. So we're going to probably talk music, but we'll probably talk about a lot of other stuff too. So that should be a lot of fun. I know he's looking forward to it. He's going to have it on his iPhone, so he's going to walk around and show us his toys and stuff. So we should have a lot.
Once again, check out the links in the description. Go buy some Nervosa merch. Go buy some Abbath merch. Support all these bands that are just having to sit and do nothing right now, and check out everything else. Please hit subscribe. Please like. Please mention your favorite Abbath songs and Immortal songs, and whatever else you want to comment on. And please share the video around. And thank you, everyone. And fucking stay metal.
Thank you.